y'all doing? Y'all doing good? Y'all doing great? Great. Welcome to another episode of I'm okay. And today we are talking about love. Of course. What else are we talking about? Yeah, guys, our topic today is going to be love, a battlefield, or a walk in the park. And today I have a special guest with me. Everybody give it up for Gina Song. I have Layan with me today.
Hey guys.
Hey. Guys, my best friend is here. I'm super excited. Okay. Hopefully somewhere down the line we're gonna be able to do like an introduction video so you can like talk about how we met and stuff and all that. But for right now, we have our first guest on the I'm Okay podcast. How do we feel?
Excited.
Guys, she was in the middle of something, so if it's not seeming, enthusiastic, that's what it is.
Why would you say that? No, guys, it's an honor to be on the second episode of the podcast.
So, okay.
Very interesting topics.
So we decided on the topic together, actually. So to begin, what is love to you?
Oh, I didn't know this was an interview.
What is love to you? Yes, what does love mean to you? Selflessness. Okay.
By the way, guys, English is not my first language, so.
Boom. Gita, so is from, Lion is from Suriname.
Yeah.
Right? So English is not her first language. Please, give her a break. Be nice.
Thank you.
In a world where you can choose to be anything, choose to be nice. Right? So.
Giving charity case.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
I really feel like this video, this podcast is gonna be a whole lot of laughing. So I apologize. Hopefully we'll get some stuff out that will actually be useful and helpful. And not just laugh the whole time. Anyway, so yes, selflessness. That's what love is for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. For me, love is openness. For me, love is openness. It is sacrifice. It is give and take.
Love is love.
Oh, my sweater, guys. My sweater says love is love. Okay. So reflect on your life and what was the sounds like a lot, but yeah. Mm-hmm. What do you think was the purest, for obviously the first example of love for you ever would be your parents, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Just sorry, I hope I don't have chocolate in my mouth, but just the fact that I mean, obviously they're your parents and they're supposed to love you,
right?
But, that not everyone grew up in that stable home, or in a home where their mom or their dad would go above and beyond to get them
show
what
that they
need.
love.
And my parents are not very physically affectionate, but
which is why I make her uncomfortable sometimes, for sure, because I'm a hugger.
But my for example, my mom, if you need something, she'll get it done, and her
reliability, stability.
That and her love language definitely is acts of service. So that's really one way that I've definitely experienced love, and I grew to appreciate it more. As you grow up, you're there's not a lot of people that will give that to you without you even doing anything for it necessarily. So
drop of a hat, just do what you need.
Yeah, I mean, don't abuse it, obviously, be respectful to your blah. But I'm just saying, from my perspective, from my view, that's how I experienced love, I guess, initially.
Okay. So
and you?
Right. So my first experience with love, obviously, my parents. My parents, they are the epitome of affectionate. That is exactly who they are. That's what they've always been. My dad is
like physically affectionate.
Physically affectionate, yes.
Okay.
My parents, they will hug on us and kiss on us and stuff like that. But like my mom, my mom always like gives us like always has stuff to say because she's like, oh, we think our dad is a superhero and like we love him more than we love her and all of this stuff. Mommy, it's not true. I feel like my mom, See, I don't even want to talk about you too much because you was feeling yourself a little bit too much when I talked about you last week. But yes, my mom, she is like her kind of love often, not all the time, but often is tough love. You know what I'm saying? It's very much, she'll tell you what is going on. Even if, you know, sometimes it's gonna hurt your feelings. Most times it's gonna hurt your feelings. Not on purpose. At least not, I hope not. Not on purpose, but I definitely feel like it's definitely tough love with my mom. But I also feel like my mom is very affectionate as well. Like, she says we don't spend enough time with her.
But what would she would like for you guys to just like watch a movie together or stuff like that?
But
or go shopping?
Here's my issue with my mother. She would say, oh, y'all don't love me. The only one that loved me is Riviere because she will come in here and watch things with me and y'all don't come in here and watch things with me. Here's my thing. When we go in there to watch things with her, and she's like, I'm tired. Like, she's just like, she's tired, she's doing something, or she falls asleep. Right. Exactly what she says. Or she'll fall asleep. And then because she's asleep, if we don't like stay and actually finish out the movie, then we'll leave because she's sleeping. And then she wakes and she's like, oh, y'all just go and leave me and da-da-da. I'm like, Ma, I'm supposed to sit here and watch you sleep? That's what we doing? Why? So yeah. But I feel like my dad, on the other hand, my dad will sit there and humor us. Like, even if he's usually the first to fall asleep. But
before your mom.
From the time he sleeps anywhere, okay? Anywhere at all.
Standing up. Superpower.
Standing up, sitting down. It's just, wow. But my dad, I feel like my connection with my dad is not, I wouldn't say better. I'd say it's different. Right. I think it's different. I feel like with my dad, like we have conversations. Not that me and my mom don't have conversations. I just feel like because my mom and I are so much alike, I'm so much like my mom. What tends to happen a lot of the time is that we butt heads a lot.
But she sees through you easily. Right.
Very much like me and my baby sister. She and I are forever clashing. And I feel like because she's so much like me.
Confession. Re-Elle always like, oh no, what do you mean I look like her? What do you mean she looks like me?
Yeah, you know what? I'm growing up. I'm maturing, you know?
Basically twins. Basically.
I didn't say all of that. Let's not get traumatic.
Oh gosh.
But yeah. I feel like because we're so much alike, we clash a lot. I feel it's the same thing with my mom and me. And she's like, oh, you always have something to say. You always trying to talk your way out of things. And then I was like, I wonder where I got that from. So outside of like, obviously like that's the first experience that you felt like love, where you experienced love. What would you take? What can you take from your parents' example of love? Not necessarily towards you, but towards each other.
I think support is one thing that is really
prominent.
Yes. Okay. Because, I mean, as a pastor's kid, you would understand.
Yeah, that's a pastor's kid too, guys.
You would understand that it's not easy as, pastors get a lot of,
backlash. I wouldn't say hate, but definitely hate. It's okay if she don't want to say it. I will definitely hate.
Backlash. And, people who don't always agree, which happens with a lot of people. When there's a lot of people and you're a leader, stuff like that happens.
In any sense.
So it was to be expected. But the way in which my mom is always there to support him, like if he needs anything for a program or whatever, like she'll help with the PowerPoints, like anything. And I'm like, although maybe you guys are not as affectionate physically as your parents,
right?
I can definitely see. Right. So I was saying, although my parents are maybe not as physically affectionate, at least in front of us, as her parents.
Can't relate.
I definitely can notice how they really love each other and support each other. Like, my mama could have things at work and they talk about it like that, and I've been saying that for the longest time, like being friends first is so important because like they just would talk about their day and how work was and this and that, and my dad would
paradox
listen.
Of a healthy relationship.
Exactly. And vice versa, if my dad had something at work or anything that happened, they just talk about everything. So those are two things that really stand out to me. Yeah. How about you?
So I laughed, right? Because again, mommy, please don't come for me. But my mom, when it comes to my dad's work, I feel like my mom stands on things is like very similar, which is, she's there for whatever it is that he needs. But at the same time, she's like, okay, but don't do too much. Like, let's not be extra. Because unfortunately, my dad has the habit, of doing things spur of the moment, or if it's not spur of the moment, then he forgets and then tells her after the fact, and that never
I feel like that's
ends
a common thing though, that because
husbands, oh,
but okay,
they just bless their hearts.
My mom would be the type to like wake up early and go, help with something or whatever, and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. So
my mom is always the first one up. Always the first one up. Yeah. So I feel like my mom is like, listen, this is you. This is what you do, okay? To you, boo. I feel like it's very much that, like, when he does ask her, like, hey, I want you to do this or I want you to do that, and she'll absolutely do it, but like she's not gonna be like, oh, let me be your reader for today. Like, it's not that. And as she was saying, like, her parents aren't as affectionate as my parents. Now, I just want y'all to bear in mind, okay, that she's the one that said that they're overly affectionate. That's why no, wait. Girl. I'm saying that. Hold on. I'm saying that just to make it known that she has never met my parents in person. I never said
overly. I never said
she
that.
has never met my parents in person, okay? Except for did you meet my dad? Yeah, I think no? She's never met my family, like, in person. She's only spoke to them on the phone and stuff spoke to them on the phone. The fact that she knows that they are so affectionate, okay, speaks volumes. It speaks for itself.
I told Ria, I think that's cute because, you know why? Because I feel like a lot of people, when they've been married for a while, like, they don't. Yes, and I feel like your parents never did. Well, I don't know, but from what I've heard,
what you've heard and seen.
Yeah, I don't know.
So here's the thing. Anyone who knows my parents know that what I like to call them the real life Corey and Topanga. Okay, that's just how I feel. My parents are the epitome of, like, like those teenagers that you see in high school movies that are all over each other all the time and, like, they just do not chill. They have no chill whatsoever. That is my parents. Love you guys. All the respect in the world. But they have no chill whatsoever. Okay?
As they should. Two grown adults. As they should.
Like, listen, I'm not gonna go into detail, but I will just say there have been times where my parents will say certain things and she has been present and heard certain things and just like it's a lot. There's a lot happening. But let me tell you, even though my sisters and I, except for Kit, Maya is all for it. She's just like, yeah, hello, let them kiss.
Yes,
let
Maya.
them da, da, da.
Yes, Maya.
And we're just like, ew. Ew. But
I mean, if I get married, I can't even do that.
So I feel like they boy. I feel like even though my sisters and I, for the most part, are usually like, anytime they do that, I look up to them so much. Like I want that so much with my heart of hearts. I really do. Love that for them. Wish they didn't do it as much. But I definitely want that for myself. And I feel like because I grew up seeing that example of like such an affectionate, such a like their love is infectious. When you're around them, you can't help but feel, love. You can't help but feel like you like, I want somebody to hug me too. Like, like you want that. So I feel like maybe that's the problem. I feel like their example of love has become like the golden standard, like the gold standard for like relationships for me, because I want somebody to appreciate me and, literally not be able to like not be around me or keep their hands off me. Ooh. Well, what? My parents gonna watch this and be like, ma'am, that's not what I meant. I just want them to just not be able to get enough of me and my space, my energy.
Any last words?
Right. Okay. So next question. What are you looking for? What would you say would be like I don't want to say a list because do you have a list?
I used to, but we had to, we went to church camp,
it was
right?
extensive.
Extensive. Girl, I did not know what I was putting myself in.
It was extensive.
But no, so we went to church camp, and I don't know if like the theme was like love or whatever, but we had to like basically put the characteristics of the person that we thought we wanted or that we were looking for and put them down on paper. I honestly don't remember what I wrote, but I know it was a lot. I know I wrote a lot.
She said it was extensive.
But then you realize you start talking to people and the list gets shorter. Not that you have to lower your standards.
She said it's a lot. I can't because
not that you have to lower your standards.
The way that dating is set up right now.
But I'm saying I was like, I need a tall guy,
right?
6 whatever, 6'3",
chocolate,
handsome, chocolate,
purr.
A guy that plays an instrument, sings,
for sure, musical,
that has a good relationship with God. Well, I feel like that's a non-negotiable for me.
I love that for you. My mom is gonna watch that and be like, tell her that. Tell her that.
We'll come back to that. But and I was like a family guy, a guy who was really nice to people. I don't like
genuine
rude people.
and kind.
I don't like rude people. And I was like funny,
which is why I don't understand why she's friends with me. But yeah.
No, sure. Rude as in.
There
was no reason for you to talk to that person like that. Like in the sense, like it's very uncalled for. Yeah. Okay. Next.
Kind of me.
But right. So it was a lot of stuff on the list. But I was like, 15, 16. You're still naive.
She's a grown up now,
Am I? FYI, I've never been in a relationship. Ever. Which is...
Babes is 22.
I'm
21!
Listen, guys.
Babes is 21!
Listen, on my birthday, she posted on Facebook, she's like, happy 22nd. I'm like... This must be a typo. So we're on the phone and she's like, wait, you're not 22. I'm like,
no, 21.
I'm like,
21. You know what it is? Let me tell you.
Wait a minute.
Let me tell you what it is. Girasol is so mature, guys. She really is.
We all, right, because that's the reason that she thought I was 22.
No, but she is. No. Like, I really do feel like... No, I really do feel like... If you ever met Layan, you would understand. She gives very much mature, older woman. You do! Oh! You do.
I don't know what to take from that, but I'll take it as a compliment.
It is a compliment. People hold you in very high regard. Yes.
Regard. Yeah. Alright, okay. I'll take it as a compliment.
It is.
We'll move on.
Right.
Move on.
Mm-hmm.
So as I'm saying, right, I've never met
22 years and never had a boyfriend. 21 years!
Let's pause this video really quick. Okay.
Yeah, guys, we have to have a small intermission and like a heart-to-heart about her age.
About my age. No.
So yes, as I was saying, 21
we're talking
years,
about 21 years and single.
21 years old and single. You know what? Listen.
Yes.
Because
was it my decision? I don't know.
Yes, it was.
It was a decision. Maybe not mine.
I feel like it was your decision. I feel like it was. Like, offhandedly so. Because here's the thing. Here's what I believe. Here's what I believe, okay? There are plenty of people. She's always like, who? But listen, there are plenty of people who find Layan extremely attractive, okay? And who would look, don't even take her on right now. There are a lot of people who find her attractive. There are a lot of people who are interested in her. But Layan, which I hope that quality will rub off on me someday, is that you don't give everybody your energy. You just don't.
That right there.
You don't.
You have a peaceful life. That right there.
Look at his skin glowing by
that
the
right
goodness
there.
of God.
Honestly, I cannot be bothered.
I wish so badly, that I could be like that. Just not give people my energy, but no.
And it's not even that I don't care what people say, because I care very much. Maybe a little too much, but it's more than I know who I mingle with, or like would be like, oh, you know, not that I feel all high and mighty, like, oh,
she definitely is.
You deserve my presence.
But she is. No, but she is.
No, that's not what I mean.
Yes,
like,
but she is.
You can come up to me and talk to me, okay? I will. I think I'm a nice person.
She's a very nice person.
But to like let people in your space and like, you know, there's
take
only
up
a
your
few.
time.
There's only a few.
It's a lot.
Select.
It's a lot.
But yeah, I don't know if it's part of having. I don't know if my standards are that high. But
they are, as they should be, and they should be.
Maybe
I wish mine were. No, I say that and it sounds really bad. We're being honest. I'm being honest, okay? I feel like, honestly, oh my gosh, this sounds so bad because it makes like the people sound like, okay, listen, this is not an attack to anyone, okay, in particular, for whomever watches this podcast. This is not an attack. This is simply just me being the most honest I can be, which is that I feel like in the past, I want to say 2 to 3 years, the people who I've given my time and energy to, with the exception of one in particular, have not been the best decision for me, okay? I feel like one of my very big issues is that I pour myself into the people that I am with, or the people that I hold in high regard, and I don't get that back. And the thing about like pouring yourself into someone or something is you can only pour so much until there's nothing left to pour.
Word.
You can only pour so much until there's nothing left, and then when you're not getting anything back, you're left with nothing. You're left empty.
And what do you have at the end?
Issues, tears, insecurities. Therapy bills. Therapy bills.
Looking for water to fill it back up.
Can't find any.
Couldn't
find nobody. Okay.
Oh Lord.
Okay. So, can you think of an?
Did you talk about your list?
My list? Oh
No, you didn't.
Okay, so, again, over the past, I won't say 2. I would say over the past year. It's a little bit more recent.
Mm-hmm.
My list has changed significantly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, down the line we'll get into that. Maybe not. I don't know. But I feel I feel like the qualifications have changed. I feel like for a while the standard was a bit on the river on the bank. It was a bit all over the place. But right now I feel like it is exceptionally high to the point where it's very much unattainable for the time being. Your friend Re-Elle is going through stuff, man, and you know we'll get to that at some point again in the podcast. But for right now, I feel like my headspace is just so not even like. I don't want to look at a guy. I don't want to look at a guy. I don't want to hear a guy. I don't want to see a guy. I just can't do it. Can't do it. I really can't. And hopefully, you know, throughout the course of this podcast, you'll see me gradually changing and, you know, healing and being able to go back to like, oh, love, relationships, woo. But right now it's more like love, relationships, woo. So for my list, I feel like beating around the bush because for my list, I would say it was definitely, I didn't really have like a height thing because guys, I'm 5'3".
But would you mind?
So everyone's taller than me.
That is true. But on the rare occasion that there's a guy shorter than you.
You know what? I did talk to someone who was shorter than me.
Really?
I did. It didn't last for very long. But
not because
of their height. No.
Okay.
Height is not a big deal for me just because like I've learned to accept that I am, you know, vertically challenged, sorry. I've learned to accept that, and you know, short people are a lot more accepting of people who are shorter, you know, or short at all, you know. You know,
are they?
It's more like it's more like, you know, pot calling the kettle black, you know. You just can't be out here calling people short when you're miniature. It's just it looks a little silly.
Right. So that was never really a
right.
thing
That was
for
never
you.
an issue for me. So height wasn't a thing. For me, someone artistic, that was extremely important. If you did not do some sort of art form, no. No. Whether it was music, whether it was like drawing or painting or poetry, or if you were like literature, it didn't matter to me like what art form it was, as long as there was an art form. If there was no art form, then no.
Someone asked me like, is that, because I told them about like the music thing, and they're like,
If
is
that's
that
a deal breaker?
Non-negotiable?
Yes.
I'm like, it's not even like, I don't want to sound like, it's not even superficial, but I don't want to sound like, oh, because they don't have that. But for me, like, that's such an important part of my life.
Right.
And I want to be able to, like, share that with that person. And if you don't appreciate it the way that I do, I feel like it's kind of going to be like, you're not reciprocating the same energy. So
exactly. Listen. I want that the person I'm with, that when they listen to music, they get the stank face. If you don't have a face like you smell the garbage when you listen to music, I can't talk to you. I just can't.
Honestly, yes.
I just cannot. I just cannot.
Right.
Like, I want somebody that feels music the way that I feel music. It's not even so much that you don't have to be Usher. You don't have to be Bruno Mars. You don't have to be able to sing like crazy, okay? Even if you could carry a little tune, you know what?
But the appreciation and you recognizing, like, I'm showing you
good music.
Oh, this mine, or this, the way this sounds, the harmonies. You're like, yes.
Listen to me. The hottest thing ever.
If you don't get it, like,
the hottest thing ever is someone listening to a song with you and they're like, yo, did you hear that minor? Oh, listen. You look at them like,
and you're like, that's what I'm talking about. Not the I'm so done with man.
Right. I'm just saying, like, generally speaking, I am. No, honestly, guys.
But yeah. It definitely. I mean, but whoever you are, whoever's watching, you might have another thing that you are very passionate about and that you would like your significant other to, like, share with you. So that's that for us. Like, obviously, you guys don't have to look for someone who's a musician,
right?
But something that you guys could bond over would be really nice.
If you're a nerd like me and cartoons are your jam, okay, or comic books are your jam, or anime is your jam, and you feel like that's a deal breaker for you, like the person who you're with needs to be like into cartoons, needs to watch, like, read comic books, needs to watch, like, whatever it is, it's perfectly okay for you to feel like that. There's nothing wrong with that. I feel like your deal breakers are your deal breakers, and it's not for anyone to decide, like, whether or not it's petty or superficial or whatever. It's what you want, and if you're not okay with that, then you can leave. It's really that simple.
I mean, I do feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I never thought I would marry this person, blah, blah. They were never really my type or whatever, but it just worked out, or this is the person that God sent to me, or whatever. Guys, that is.
Let me tell you, I can speak from experience, okay? Listen,
stuff happens.
Stuff happens, man. Your preferences, yes, okay, could change like that in a second, okay? And it's not always for the best. Sometimes it's for the worst, and sometimes you need to change back. But I feel like
yeah,
it's okay.
I got you.
I feel like it's important to remain open. Like Liane said, her list changed drastically. Her list changed from this very extensive list of things to like a more reasonable,
more realistic
list. Because it's true what they say. Like, you know, when you hear older folks talk to you, it's kind of like they're snobby or whatever. But experience really does teach. Experience teaches. Going through life teaches.
And one other thing, like, I feel like we have these high expectations for whoever we want to date, especially if you haven't been in a relationship, and you forget that you have all these flaws still that you have to work on. So you are being so hard on other people, and like, you know, why you still have that, or why you still, you know. But
unfortunately, women, it's our default to romanticize things and over fantasize things.
Yes.
More than what they actually are.
That is true.
You could disagree. You could be loud as you could be as loud as you want in them comments, but it's the facts. Okay? It's just the truth. It's what we do. That's why, you know, sometimes you see people end up with certain people and it's just like, what are you doing? You don't understand. It's not, at this point, it's not even rose-colored glasses, babes. At this point, it's red. It's blood red. Okay? It's giving candy red. So yeah, I didn't have a height thing. But the music, like, correction, art form, very big deal. Religion, specifically Christianity, was a really big thing for me. And then I got into my past relationship. You know, the person, we had the same faith, but we are not equally yoked. And that's a whole different conversation. We're gonna get into that another time, because
that's a whole
it's deep.
Extensive.
It's deep, man. Okay, you could be of the same faith, believe the same things and still be unequally yoked. So we're gonna talk about that in another video. But yeah, I feel like that was a thing. Also someone who is a kind person. Like, that's a really big deal for me. A kind person. Someone who's kind. No, really.
No, but yeah, I definitely.
Someone who's just like genuinely kind.
As I was
to
saying,
people.
like, I don't know, because there's a lot of. I feel like a lot of guys.
A compassionate person.
Or just assholes for no reason. You can take that.
People are jerks.
Jerks, sorry.
They're jerks. It's fine. It's fine.
I just feel like I'm like, what is the that's not cute.
There's no reason at all, and they're just jerks. They're just jerks.
So that's definitely also another thing.
So the reason that we picked the topic, love a battlefield or walk through the park, is because we were having a conversation the other day, and we were like, there are a lot of misconceptions. We feel there are a lot of misconceptions about love, and specifically relationships, love and relationships, right? That they're like colloquialisms and sayings and phrases that have like come to pass throughout the years. Things like, oh, love is hard, and
if love is easy, it's not worth it.
Right. If love is easy, it's not worth it. And love hurts. And
some of those I could kind of see where they're coming from, in the sense that as I was saying, like, my parents sacrificed a lot for each other. So in the sense that, you would have to put the other person first. So in that sense, if you're saying it's hard and it's not just a walk in the park, I could understand that. But if you're saying like, oh, my man cheated on me for the 7th time,
but I love him.
We're gonna get through this, babe.
Right. Like, that's my man, and I'm sticking by him.
I don't know, babes. I don't know.
Huh? Like, all of these ideas and misconceptions about love being love is a minefield. Love is a minefield. You just have to find ways to work together to not step on those mines. Like, babes,
your man sounds explosive.
This is what I'm saying. Here's the thing. If your relationship, okay, is giving a minefield, babes,
eggshells,
run, like. No, because listen, life is a minefield, okay? You walk through life is a minefield. You walk through life, and sometimes you step on things and they explode, and they sometimes your life is turned upside down, okay? And for me, I feel like your relationship should be your safe space. Obviously, you should have your own safe space for yourself. Obviously, like, I feel like you should also be very careful not to wrap yourself in the person that you're with. I don't agree with the whole like, oh, my boyfriend is my world, my boyfriend is my everything, babes. If your boyfriend is your world,
that says, I don't want you to be my world. I want you to be a planet in my universe. Something like that. I'm like, I like that, because then you have one planet and you see relationship, and you have another and friends and all these other things that you're doing, and I think that makes up the whole person that you are, not just the relationship. So I do agree with that.
So I feel like, and I think I made a, what is that, a metaphor, like in the earlier stages of my past relationship, which was that do not allow yourself to become a vase, right? Because a vase sole purpose is to be filled, and if it's empty, then it has no purpose. It has no purpose, and then it becomes a decoration. It becomes an ornament. It becomes something that just sits there. Allow yourself to work to making yourself a painting, because no matter where a painting is, it's a work of art. It's something to be beheld, and the thing about a painting is what one person sees in a painting, another person may see something completely different. So you are continuously being a blessing to everyone who's in your company. I feel like that was so important to me because for a good while I was in situations where I allowed someone to be like my beginning and end, and it was not okay. It was not okay. And the way I feel, so, Miss Ma'am, do you feel like love, I'll ask you a question, do you feel like love is a battlefield? Or do you feel like it should be a battlefield or a walk in a park?
So as I already said earlier, and I feel like it's kind of funny coming from me.
No relationship.
But as you see things
Movies,
here and there.
books, experiences,
real life things. Yeah.
By real life, she means me.
No, guys, no. I mean,
yeah.
Not only you. Right. So, as I was saying earlier, like, I could see why people are saying certain things are hard in love, or if you really love a person, you're gonna have to make some hard decisions as, like, you know, am I gonna... Well, yeah, you have to... Basically, it's putting that person's needs before yours. But not forgetting that you have to take care of yourself. So it sounds kind of like tricky and contradicting. But I think that if you love someone, if you have this pure love for someone, you'll make sure they're all right. You'll make sure, you know, they're good. They feel good in the relationship, blah, blah, blah. You work on things that you have to work on. So if you're saying that that's hard, or that's the hard part of the relationship, I totally understand that. But I wouldn't say that it's altogether a battlefield. It shouldn't be this place where you go, or you're with that person, you just feel burdened. You just feel like, oh.
To fight.
Yes, like, you should be able to be with that person and feel like you could literally be 100% authentic, be yourself, like, share your day and your struggles, whatever it is, and you guys could just converse and talk. And of course,
that's why being friends first is very important.
Exactly. So you putting their needs before yours, but they are also putting... I don't know if I'm talking about a marriage perspective though, because
it is giving a little bit.
I think I'm talking about a marriage perspective because I feel like in boyfriend girlfriend relationship, you gotta be careful with that. Right. Careful with that.
Okay.
We're not doing all of that yet.
Okay.
That whole putting...
my mom checked me real quick when it came to that. She snatched me all the way up.
If you're still young, you know, in a relationship, be a little selfish with your time. You're still young.
Not a little, definitely. Definitely be selfish with your time.
Especially if you're in school and whatnot. Like, ain't nobody got time for that.
Comes first. It comes
ain't
first.
Nobody got time for it.
It should come first.
Eat today, baby? I mean, you can ask, but like, ain't nobody... No. No. So yeah, I definitely think I'm talking more out of a marriage perspective.
From a relationship perspective, though.
A relationship perspective. I think in that sense, then, that person should just be your safe space and basically your best friend.
Right.
So...
That you kiss sometimes. Guys, no, literally.
We only hold hands. Guys,
there we only...
JK.
Okay, let me stop.
JK.
Let me stop, because my mom's gonna watch this and be like, oh, that's what you're doing? That's what you're doing?
It's all joke.
Right.
No, but in a, like, just relationship, like, boyfriend, girlfriend, definitely that person should just be your safe space, and it should feel like a best friendship thingy. So... That doesn't... I don't think that equals to battlefield. Right. So, definitely... But also, I don't know if it's a walk in the park. I think it's gonna be a middle ground thing in the sense that there are gonna be hard decisions to make. So, if it's not a battlefield
and it's not a walk in the park, then what is it?
Girl, I don't know.
It's swim in the ocean.
No. I think it's a... I see it as a plant.
A plant, okay.
Keeps growing.
Is it giving ficus?
Or cactus. But sometimes, you know, the sun is hot.
Right.
Sometimes it rains too much. But other days, the days are just like really nice and it can flourish
Right.
So, you know, those nutrients, those nutrients will help it grow.
Profound.
So I think, you know, you're not always going to have good days.
Preach.
And you're not always going to have bad days.
Right.
It's
I
a
like
growth.
that.
And I think it's constantly growing with that person.
For sure.
Because also
whenever a relationship becomes stagnant, it is a sign that you need to go. It's a sign that it's over. For me, at least. For me, at least.
But could you have a conversation first?
Well, obviously, listen. Stagnant means that it has stopped and no longer, there is no range of motion whatsoever. When your relationship comes to a stagnant point, here's the thing, your relationship should never come to a stagnant point. Okay? I feel like even if it's getting close to that, if there's not like things taking place, if there's not somebody like putting a little ripple in the water.
But do you think it's something that could be discussed? Be like, you know, I feel like
obviously,
this, and the person
conversation.
Of course,
key.
if they work, and communication is key, of course, and the person decides to work on it, I feel like that's okay. If they don't,
my classmate said something the other day when we were all talking and stuff. We had a break in between class, and she said, she said in Spanish, but she said without communication there is no relation. There is no relation. There is no relationship without communication. If there is no communication, then there is no relationship. And I wholeheartedly subscribe to that.
Because you know how many like misunderstandings could come out of just assuming things or, oh, I thought you were going to do that. Or babes. Yeah, words. Babes. I feel like women do that a lot though. We expect the opposite sex to read our
understand
mind.
See here's my thing I am a very vocal person. Okay, I talk about how I feel even when no one asks. Okay. That's one thing. If it's one thing about me, I'm gonna say what I want to say, right? So if I feel a way, it's not. Okay. If I feel a way, I'm going to say something. But again, hopefully we'll talk about it more down the line. But a more recent situation that I dealt with, the situation became stagnant, and something you should be very careful of. If you are in a situation where anytime that you try and connect with someone, you feel like an interruption, you do not need to be there. It is not somewhere where you should be. And the thing, like, the crazy thing about it is you will talk yourself out of feeling what you feel. And you'll be like, oh, maybe I'm just like overthinking things and overanalyzing things, because that is an issue that I have. But the truth is, like, you cannot make yourself, you should not, better yet, make yourself not feel what you feel out of fear that it will upset the other person. It's never okay to deny your feelings to protect the other person's feelings, because both of your feelings should be important. Both of them should be heard, and both of them should be paid attention to and taken into consideration. But like, yeah, I feel like when you spend all of this time like expecting someone to like read your every thought and you never say anything, you're never gonna get anywhere. It's gonna stay there, and it's going to slowly but surely become stagnant to the point where the person that you're with, you don't even know.
And I feel like you can
each
start
other
resenting them, like, why are you not doing what I am assuming that you know you should do? Like, but they probably didn't even realize that that's something that's bothering you,
right?
Or, you know, so that's definitely important.
Very important, yes. For me, battlefield or walk in the park, I would have to say I agree with, Liancita over here that it's neither. I would definitely say it's definitely a plant. Right now, my plant of choice is between Venus flytrap and cactus. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It's giving Venus flytrap. It's giving anything that passes, I will snatch you up. Okay? I will snatch you up.
You know what that sounds like.
Oh, you know what? Let me change. Cactus.
Okay.
Okay? Strong, it's sturdy, it's prickly, which means stay away from it.
Yeah.
Stay away. Stay as far away as possible. And listen, desert flowers, cactus flowers are some of the most beautiful flowers you'll see. But no, if you touch it, you will get pricked. And that's exactly how I feel right now. That's what I have to
what I said. And
that's what I have to say about it. But yeah, so reflection. What would you say, like what advice would you give to someone who is trying to figure out whether or not their love is a battlefield or a walk in the park, or if it's a plant, if it's growing up?
You mean someone who's already in? Oh, okay. Well, you know, the points that we kind of talked about, I think those are really good. Wow, we're not experts, okay? Obviously.
This is not Red Table Talk.
But I think some of our points are valid. So, like, as she was saying, if it's stagnant, like, there's definitely a conversation to be had. Conversations, communication.
And once the conversation is had and there is no change, get out. Cut it.
I don't know what else you're doing there.
Cut it.
Do you keep your dead ends on your hair? I don't think so.
No, you cut them off.
But no, honestly, because I feel like...
What do you do? What do you do when you're in a situation where you realize that something is stagnant and you're trying to fix it?
And you already talked about it?
You talked about it, you're trying to fix it. You're trying to... Or you see it becoming stagnant. Maybe it's not quite stagnant yet, but you see it becoming that.
Well, after you've had the conversation, nothing changed.
Right. What if you are one of those people, very much like myself, who feel like, I'm gonna stick it out because I love this person and we're gonna work at it.
We're going back
to work at it. We're gonna grow together and we're gonna figure it out. And this is my person, and I'm gonna stand by them and help them to be the person I know they can be.
As long as you're not married, please get out. Because back to my, what's this? The hair thingy analogy? The dead ends. You know how it just goes up and your hair just thins out and breaks? Ooh. That's exactly what's going to happen to you.
Ooh.
To your soul. It will break. Because honestly, if that person is not giving you the same energy or is not reciprocating the work that you're putting into that relationship, they simply don't care. And them not caring and them not putting in the same energy, I don't think that equals love. And you don't need to be with someone who doesn't love you. Or who doesn't like
love
you.
Is a what word? Love is a what word? An action word. She missed it. That's okay.
Plans.
Love is an action word, meaning not only do you say it, not only do you hear it, but you see it. You see it. You see it. Okay? And if you don't see it,
no judgment to people who are in those type of relationships. Right? Because I know it's not easy to get out of and just to say, oh, I'm going to just pack my bags and leave.
I'm going to head on out. Because...
Well,
we were talking the other day and she was like, you know, the thing about it is you can want something for someone. You can tell somebody something over and over and over and over again. But until that person comes to that conclusion
themselves,
you're wasting your words.
But I do think it's important to have those people in your life that care enough to tell you certain things. Like it it could help you realize and start thinking about it at least. Like I don't think it's a waste of time entirely. It could definitely make them think and start, analyzing stuff for themselves, and then they come to that conclusion. So
that they need to.
Yeah. So I hope that
whoever you are, you have someone in your life who
like
can guide you or just give you advice and be there, you know. So yeah,
like something.
What were you
for
thinking?
me? Something that is like very is very important to me right now is, I feel like it sounds very cliche, but I feel like it's very important, is protecting my peace, protecting your peace.
Definitely,
it's extremely important, and I feel like now it's turned into like a trend, or like, you know, just like protect your peace, you know, but it really is very important. To protect your peace, to protect your space, to protect your heart, your energy, your emotions. It's important. And I'm not saying to guard yourself. Well, I am for right now. But I'm not saying to guard yourself. Don't be like me, okay? Be better. I'm not saying to guard yourself, but be mindful of the people that you let into your circle, because people will know you by the company that you keep. And if the people that are in your circle are deteriorating your peace, are gradually making your peace deteriorate, and then I feel like there's some people who be like, oh, you shouldn't give someone that much power over your life to like deteriorate, like mess up your
anyone
peace.
You spend a lot of time with will have an influence on you. So yeah, that's that.
A word. I feel like, you know, sometimes we say a lot of things without thinking about them. And that's one of them. Like, oh, don't let someone affect, like, yes, that's true. You shouldn't let someone affect how you see yourself and how you operate. So that's something that I covered in episode 1 in terms of dealing with expectations. Don't allow someone to control, you know, what you think of you, and because what you think of you ultimately is what's most important. But at the same time, when someone is in your space and you trust someone, and you by extension love someone, what they do affects you, whether you like it or not. What they do affects you, or what they don't do affects you. So I feel like it's important to, especially for me right now, to protect your peace. And it sounds bad, but like, to be selfish with your time, to be selfish with, you know, keeping, I don't even know like how to explain, but like being selfish about your peace, being selfish about it, like not allowing,
don't let anyone disrupt it,
right? Because it's very easy to careen into emotions and let that like control your every waking moment, but it's never healthy. Okay, so if your relationship is giving stagnant pond, if it is giving battlefields, minefields, explosion at every step, if it is giving walk in the park, woo, nothing's wrong, and then you step on a mine, it's chaotic. If it's giving any of those things, evaluate, reflect.
That's all.
Reflect, okay? We're not saying to go ahead and be like, no, I'm done, I'm protecting my peace, I'm leaving you. Let's not be extra, okay? It's giving dramatic. Conversation needs to be had.
Yeah.
Okay, and if you work towards it and it can be fixed, great, fantastic. You can work towards fixing it. If not, then maybe it's time that you evaluate whether or not that's the best thing for you, right? And as Guinness said, aspire to be a plant. Okay, aspire to have a plant for a relationship. Constant growth. You know, constant growth. Anyway, guys, that has brought us to the end of our video. Maybe we'll do a part 2, maybe, I don't know. But for all my anxious baby girls and baby boys, it's okay to not quite be right, just as long as you're working on it, all right? So I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye. Thank you, girl. Love you. All right, let's see if I can get this together now. To all my anxious baby girls and baby boys, it's okay to not quite be right, just as long as you're working on it, all right? Like, comment,